Okay, so for our first real video here in Chapter 5, let's take a look at the system variables available in SSIS. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't explain what variables are. So for those of you who know what a variable is, I'm going to make a whiteboard here and I'm going to say, here, what is a variable, and explain it for all the folks who don't necessarily know. So when this screen goes away, then, you might want to fast forward until when I actually get to showing stuff. Okay, so if you're still with me, I'm assuming you haven't really been exposed to variables before and you want an idea of what they are. Okay, so in a programming language, you deal with data a couple of different ways. Okay, and gosh, that's misleading. So a variable is a temporary way to store data. Okay, and although that term data is probably confusing because experienced people know that, hey, I can do more than that. What do you mean? Just for now, let's just leave this alone. I'll give you a couple of examples of using variables. Okay, so the old programming adage is that if you plan on embedding a value in a program more than once, go ahead and make it a variable. So let me think if I can come up with an example here. So what we want to do, let's just do a transact SQL version of this. So we've got a problem. We want to return all orders on a date, a given date, and return any new customers that were also added on that date. Okay. So we could do something like this. We could say select all from, let's just make an imaginary table called orders with an imaginary column called order date equals, Jan 1, 2010. And then we'd also be able to say select all from customer where join date equal Jan 1, 2010. Okay, so lots of problems with this from a code maintenance standpoint. You see, that's one thing we're always interested in is our code maintenance. Well, in this case, if we want to change the date, well, we have to go to multiple locations and change it. It would be far superior if we had some temporary storage, the date, and you declare variables in T-SQL with the @ sign. And so we define it as a data type, Jan 1, 2010. And then now we can just change our queries where order date equal the date and select all from customer where join date equals the date. We want to change this. We have a single location to do so, and it's right there. All we have to do is change the value of the variable. It's a temporary storage. Okay? So SSIS has these as well. We have our own temporary storage, and I'm going to get in and kind of show you how all of this works. Okay, but I think that's good enough to get you the basic idea of what a variable is. Okay, so I'm about to wipe this away. So if you want a copy of it, go ahead and pause the video, copy it down, take a screenshot, whatever your choice is, because bye-bye. Okay, so from this point forward, I need you to have a basic understanding of what the concept of a variable is. Nothing really too fancy about it. So SSIS has variables, okay? So SSIS, let's just do this. Let's come up here. SSIS has two types of variables. Type. I'm going to leave that word for the time being. 1, 2, 3. System variables, which are read-only and provide us information such as the machine name, the person executing this package, and more. I'm going to show you those here in just a second. And user variables. You define these. So you get to give it the name, you get to decide what a data type it is. So you define the name and the data type, among other things. There's one other thing that you would, two other things you would define. For the time being, this is good enough, okay? So I tell you what, the easiest thing for us to start with are the system variables. And I want to show you how to find them, show you how to work with them here. So I'm going to go to Visual Studio and create a new package. And bring it up. And the variables screen is, it may be, depending on your installation, it may be up, it may not be available for you here. If you do not see a tab over here called variables, a couple of different ways that you get to it. My favorite way is to right click somewhere here in the environment and go to the variables tab and just select that guy, and that's it. And it brings up a new thing over here. So here is our variables setting over here. And as you can see, it's empty. There are no variables in it. But that's a lie. There are variables here. You just can't see them. Okay? So what you do is I'll kind of give you an idea of how this works here. So let me draw a little bit here. Let's talk icons. So right here, that guy is create new variable. Okay. This guy here is show all system variables. And I'll choose red for this one. And this says show all variables. Okay. And let's try yellow here. This guy says choose columns. Oh, and I'm sorry that doesn't really show up, but choose columns, like you get a column selector here. Okay. Now, so we want to see the system variables, right? So it's not going to be too difficult. We need to click that little box to show us the system variables. So here you go. I just click it and I can see all of the different variables that we have. And you can see the values. Some of these have values, some of them do not. Some of them don't because they simply haven't been populated. Like we didn't have any configurations that failed. There are no version comments for this one. But let's just take a look at some of these. Let's find creation date. Like this is a good one. So I can tell from loading up when this particular package was created. Where it was created, what user account created the package. I can look at the machine name that the package is currently executing on. Is it in offline mode? Some of you might have seen in, I think like the last video at the end of chapter 4, where we got some errors because we were in offline mode and we weren't able to make certain changes that I was trying to do at that particular time. You could see the package name. I mean, this is package information. This is environment information that you have access to. So very, very neat that we have access to these system variables. If you remember back to the video in which we talked about in the data flow task, and let me just drag and create. Do I have any sources that I can use that are file based? Give me a second. I'm going to show you where we've used these already. No, apparently I don't. Let's instead of a flat file, I'll use a SQL set here and just use some junk data here because I really don't care about this. What I want to show you is in chapter 4 we talked about the audit transformation. And we said that the audit transformation allows you to add environmental settings and post those as new columns. So these values in the audit transformation are directly read from those variables. Oops, that didn't work out. Okay. So the machine name, package ID, all of that is coming from those system variables there. And you see, from this, there's only some of them that are exposed in the audit transformation, but there were many more variables. If we bring up the variables window, then you could see there were many more system variables here. Now, looking at this screen, let me close with this. The icon that you see right here, this is going to be your system icon here. So these are your variables here that are of a system type. Okay. When we come back in the next video, I'm going to show you how to do user variables, and we're going to see a different value.